Welcome to Looplearnings, and in this video we are going to create multiple functionalities in Microsoft Access form. So stick around and let's get started. If you are a regular visitor of my channel, welcome back, and if you are new to my channel, welcome to Looplearnings. Consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. So today's video is 9th video in the series that we are working on. We are creating a real world application in Microsoft Access. So if you haven't watched the first 8 parts of this series, the links for those videos are in the description below. So I would recommend you to please watch those videos as well so you understand what we are trying to build. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate multiple functionalities, such as we are going to do coding behind employee types button, and we are going to use search and then show all search option. Basically we will be playing around with it. So there are different things I'm going to demonstrate in this video. So let's jump right into Microsoft Access and let me show you what exactly we are trying to build today. Alright, so now we are in Microsoft Access, and if you have watched my previous video, then you would know that we did the VB coding behind employees form. Today we are going to do a bit of coding, similar concept, but behind employee types button as well, because I want to demonstrate to you that how one dynamic form can be used to display multiple type of information. That is the purpose of this tutorial. So let's move on and let's go ahead and do the coding behind employee types button. So we'll go to the design view. What we want to do, so if you haven't watched the video, I will just give you the overview of what we are trying to build in this tutorial. So what we need to do is, for example, in last video I did the coding behind this button. So when I click here, we get a nice dynamic form, and in it we get records of all the available records in the query. So these records are coming from the query. That's what we did, and we created the search functionality as well. So for example, I want to search for this John, and I get the information. I can double click further to get further information. So that's what we did in last 2 videos. What we need to do is we need to create similar functionalities. First we need to create functionality to, when I click on employee types button, at the moment nothing happens, then this form should open and it should display all the employee types information which is available in our database. That's what we want. And then eventually I want to build a search functionality as well to search for the employee types in case there are multiple employee types also. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go to the design view. I'll click on employee types button. We'll go to the event tab. On click event we will create ... code builder. And if you will see, we are going to essentially build the exact same functionality. So basically what we need to do is copy most of the code. So I'm going to do that. Well, I can also write the code from the start, but I don't think that will be beneficial, because I have already explained how to write this code, the basics of writing this particular code. If you want to know what are the basics, what are the foundations of writing this particular code, I would recommend you to watch the previous videos so you would get an idea, because in previous videos I have explained in very much detail that how to write this particular code. So in this video I'm not going to repeat the same because that might bore you, and also we want to proceed further in the application as well. So that's why I'm going to copy and paste most of the code. So we did copy and paste, and in it here we want to open the form, but which form? dynamic form we want to open. We want txt now viewing, so this button I will show you is a dynamic form. This text box should display employee types instead of employees, because we are clicking on employee types button, and this text box should display employee types. Okay, so employee types, that's what we want to display. And this button, when we open employee types data, this button should have a caption called create employee type. So this is a caption. Now we need to fetch the information. So in case of the employees, we created a query from which we fetch the information and we display it on dynamic form. But in case of employee types, because it's just a normal simple table, we will fetch the information from the table itself. We don't need to create a query. So if I will double click here, employee types table, there are only 2 fields actually. So you don't need to create a query in order to fetch the information. You can fetch the information from the table itself as well. So that's what we're going to do. And here we go. So 2 fields, employee emp type ID and emp type. Make sure that you type the field's name correctly, otherwise you are going to get error when you are going to click on the button and data may not be displayed. So first field is emp type ID, second is emp type. So we'll emp type, okay, and here emp type, emp is short version of employee. All right, from which query? We are fetching this information not from query but from table, and we can give the information of table. So employee types T, that's the name of the table, employee types T. Okay, we want column heads. There are 2 columns only, and we want these columns to be displayed as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to give the equal. So for example, the first column we will give 1.5 inch width, and the remaining column remains, for example, 3 inch, because okay, debug it, save it. Let's go to login. Let's log in to the application. All right, now if I click here employee types, and boom, we have the employee type information. This text box is also showing employee types. This text box is showing create employee type. All right, now if I click on employees, we get employees information instead of employee types information. So I'm sure now you are getting an idea that why I've created only one form and why I've used the functionality to fetch the information from different queries and tables and into one form. So we don't have to create separate form for each kind of record. Otherwise you would have to create employees search form and the list form for the employees separately, list form for the employee type separately, list form for the parts request separately, list form for the vehicles separate. So that will create a kind of mess. It will not be, according to me, I may be wrong, but according to me, the way I'm demonstrating to you is the most leanest way of getting the result that you wish to. I mean, look at this. You click on the employees button, you are presented with the employees information on the form and the list box, and you click on employee types button on the same form, on the same list box, you get the employee types button. So why would you need to create separate forms for each type of records? I mean, I don't think so that you need to do that. You just need to fix your code. You just need to learn that how to utilize one form and how to utilize the VBA coding in order to get the desired results that you wish to have. So I think this is the best way of doing it. Now let's do the coding behind create employee type, because at the moment if I click create employee type, nothing happens because there is a code behind this button. Don't get me wrong, there's a code, but that code is being referred to employees only. So now we have to create a code, not create, I'll copy and paste, but you will have to type it if you're learning. So now I want, when this caption of this button is different as compared to create employees, now it is create employee type. So I still want to get that pop-up message asking, hey, do you want to create record, yes or no? If I click on yes, then I should be able to create record. So that's what we are going to do. So right click, design view, okay, and now we'll click here, and basically when I click here, when employee type is being displayed on this particular text box, and create employee type is the caption of button, what I would like to do when I click here as a user, I should be able to get this form opened. Okay, all right, so ... and if you will see, there is already code behind it. So now we are going to copy this code. All right, and actually not from here, from here, and it will be else if. Okay, else if me.txt now viewing. Now this will be changed to employee types. Okay, are you sure you want to create a new employee type record? So we have to just modify a little bit. Others will remain same, and we need to change the form name as well. Remember, as I mentioned, make sure that you have the correct form name, otherwise you're going to get error. That's why I'm copy pasting. All right, and that is it essentially, believe it or not. Once you have written one code block behind one object, then it becomes very easy for you to just replicate the same thing. In this particular scenario, you are looking at the example as well. So I'll close the form, close this form as well, login. All right, 456, and I'll click on employee type, create employee type. Boom, we are getting the message. Are you sure you want to create a new employee type record? If I click on no, it should be cancelled, and if I click on yes, the form should open. So let's create a new employee type, which is let's say administrator. I'm just creating randomly. Save it. All right, now at the moment search and show all are not activated for this particular functionality. That also we have to cover in this. So right click on that, let's go to the search event tab and ... and if you will see, there is already code built behind it. What we need to do is we need to copy this code. All right, and then we need to create else if me.txt keyword true, then blah blah blah, this message appears here. This now viewing should be employee types, then this will be employee type ID, this will be employee type. Now this information I'm getting from employee types table. All right, emp type ID, emp type, employee types T, that's the name of table. Where what? Txt keyword is like what? Emp type. Oops. Here we go. Because we built the multiple criteria in for the other form, that we don't need to do here. Another and if block. Let's debug it. What is the error? Else without if. So I have to remove this. We'll get another error. Yep, because there is another extra and if. So it's always good practice. Block if without end if. Why? Okay, this is 1, 2. So there are 2 end if blocks. Why we are getting error? Yeah, now it is gone. So always debug it, check it, compile the code before you do anything with it, and then you run it. Login 456 employee types. So search for manager. Search, boom, we are getting a search result. Now I have to do the copy paste of coding behind show all button as well. So let's go ahead with the show all, and in here we will copy this and we will say else if employee types, then what? Then my friend emp type ID, column count 2, and in here 2.1 inch. This will go to 1.5 inch, and that is it essentially. Hopefully you are understanding. Again, as I said, if you haven't watched the previous 2 videos particularly, I would recommend you to please go ahead and watch those so you understand the continuity of what I'm trying to achieve here. Let's search for manager again. Here we go. Let's click on show all, so it should show both employee types, and there is a problem. That's not the right record. It should show manager and administrator. So when I click on show all, it is showing only manager. It is not showing the administrator. That's what we need to look at. And I love when this kind of issues happens, because that makes me think that why this error is coming. So this is correct employee type. So now you're looking at the, here I've given the reference of query, employees queue, right? Employees queue. If I click here, there are 4 records. That's why 4 times manager is coming. Look at this. So in this query as well, there is emp type. That's why 4 times it's giving me manager. So that is a mistake. So what we need to do, we need to give reference of this table, because we want information to be fetched from this table, not from this query. So we'll replace this with the table name, debug it, if this will allow us. Anyway, save it, yes, and we will log in again. Let's test it out. Employee types, let's search for the manager again. Boom, show all, and now we are getting the right result. Next step, if I want to modify some information, let's say I want to change administrator to administrators, okay, or admin or whatsoever. So if I double click here, the form should open for me to modify records. So let's go ahead and do that now. Right click, design view, select the list box. On double click event, there is already code behind it. So what we need to do is just simply copy and paste. Remember, I'm demonstrating this because I want you to understand how one form can be used for multiple record types. Okay, that's why first I have in first video, that is about 1 hour video, in which I have explained all the logics behind each line of code. So I would recommend you to watch that video if you really want to learn. Otherwise you will be thinking what this guy is doing. All right, so, and in here we want employee type ID is equal to me.dynamiclist.column 0 employee types. All right, okay, save it, close it, login. All right, so we will log in and give a password. Go to the employee types. If I click here, administrator, there we go, we get administrator. So we can create record, we can search for record, we can modify for record. What else you need, right? One more thing we want, if for example if I create another record here, let's say what else, supervisor, let's create supervisor, save it, close it. But when I close, this list box is not being updated automatically. I have to close this form or I have to click on show all in order this form to be updated. So I don't want that to happen. So what we need to do is we need to do code behind this form. Okay, so on close event, that's what we want to do, on close event. So if you will see, we did this on close event for the employees form as well. So you will see that we did this. So I'm going to copy the same form or same code, because that's essentially the exactly same code we are going to do on close event. So we'll paste right here. Okay, debug, save, yes, close, 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 login, employee types. Now let's create a new record, and this time we will say what is employee type, officer. Save it. Now when I close this, officer should appear in this list if our code is correct, and that's what happens, right? All right, so that is it. I hope you have learned something today. Even if you have not, please do let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, smash the like button, share it with others, tell me in the comments, ask me question, give me your feedback, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the bell icon so you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, that is it for today. I will see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.